And we're going to... Alright, so what did you get for each corner angle of the square here? 90. And so then, if that's 90, what is the little part inside? And so then what's our central angle? 45. Alright, how about with the pentagon? So it's 5 minus 2 times 180 divided by 5. What do y'all get for that? So if each angle is 108. Mm-hmm. So divided by 2. So 54. And so then what does that make the other one? Makes it 36. Mm-hmm. All right, how about that last one? So we got 135 when we plugged in the 8 minus 2 times 180 divided by 8. And then what? No? Are we stuck there?
Is it a fraction? Or a decimal?
This one's going to be a decimal. So we divide by 2, get 67.5. And then when we subtract from 180, or to find the central angle, it should come out to 22.5. What did you say? So, oh, sorry, 180 minus 67 minus 90. I'm sorry, I did say 180 minus that, and then also minus the 90. Alright, so when you have that, flip to the next page, you're going to see why we needed to find the central angles. Okay, so we have a little bit of vocab here. And for some reason, our poor vocab got hole punched. So that word there should be radius. Okay, just like we have the radius of the circle, it's anytime we're joining the center to the vertex. Okay, so if we're going all the way as if we had a circle around that polygon, and it's the radius of the circle, we also call it the radius of the polygon. And apothegm, have any of you heard the word apothegm before? So apothegm is your new vocab word. You need to know what it means. It's going to be in all the formulas for this type of polygon. Apothegm is the center to the midpoint of any side. So just make sure you know the difference between if we're going to the vertex or if we're going to the center. It will always be a right angle to the side. So the reason that's important is because this is our formula we use for any regular polygon. It's 1/2 apothegm times perimeter. And so that, just 1/2 AP, is what will be on any formula chart you have. So you just have to remember apothegm stands for, A stands for apothegm, and P stands for perimeter. So this first one they give us, the perimeter is 40, apothegm's 5. We just have to plug it in. So 1/2 times 5 times 40. Can y'all mental math that? Yeah, just 100. And does it give us, it does not give us the unit, so we'll just write units squared. Alright, how about the next one? What information do they give us on the next problem? They give us the apothegm, so A equals 5. What else do we need?
Perimeter.
The perimeter. So how can we find the perimeter when all we have is the apothem? Okay, so
the top way, don't you multiply by 2, and then multiply by taking out side.
So I'm gonna use this to figure out, okay, this is a right triangle, which means I can do math we've used before to solve and find out what that is, and then multiply it times 2 times the number of sides. Yeah, that was a lot of what's. Okay, so we're going to do step by step together. So I need to find the missing side. And so can I figure out what that central angle is?
Yes.
Did I already figure out? No, this is a different. How many sides are in this? 7. So I plug it in to 7 minus 2 times 180 divided by 7. Who can get that? That's in the formula. Number minus 2. 7 sides.
18.4.
18.4? That's not what I got. I got 25.7. So... So 5 times 180.
And then divide by 7.
And then divide by 7.
I got 128.6.
Oh, you're right. And then we divide it by 2 to get 64.3 is what we're going to call it as. But then we need the central angle. And so central angle is...
Yeah, divide by 2, and then you add that to 90.
Yeah. Okay, so our math, so we did this, it becomes 128.57. Okay. Are y'all with me on this step?
Yes.
Okay, so my formula, we need angle first. And so my formula, remember, to find the angle of the polygon is just number minus 2 times 180 divided by number of sides. That's the one we wrote on the first page. And so I plug in, this one has 7 sides, so I plug in 7 to both of those. You guys see that now?
Yeah, but we're doing 64.
Okay, so then I got this, and then I'm looking at the triangle, which is then half of it. So then I just take whatever my answer is and divide it by 2, which gave me the 64.3. And then I subtract from 180, or subtract 90 minus 64.3 to get 25.7. So 25.7 is my central angle. So I know that was a lot of steps. Did you follow that?
No.
So take just a second, finish writing it down, look at it, and then ask me if you're not sure where a number came from. It's a lot of steps.
Why did you divide the 128.57 by 2?
So 128.57 is what every single interior angle is,
There's 2 interior angles in one.
and I need just half of it, and so I'm always going to divide it by 2. All right, now that we have or are there more questions on how we found that angle? Are you ready for the next step? Okay, now that we have that angle, what can we do with that angle to find the missing side?
Multiply by
So now I have a right triangle with an angle of 25.7 and a side of 5. What math have we learned to use an angle and a side, find a missing side? Trigonometry. Yeah. Pythagorean theorems if we have two sides. Special rights is if we have a 45, 30, or 60 degree angle. But if it's none of those, yeah, it's Sokotoa. Okay. Alright, so I have my, from the angle I have the adjacent side, I have opposite side. What am I going to use? So yeah, O over A, so tangent. So tangent of 25.7 equals x over 5. Do I multiply or divide to solve? Multiply. Yeah, x is on top, so I multiply. So when you enter 5 times tangent 25.7, what do you get? 2.4. Oh, we're not finished yet. Okay. So now 2.4 is half a side, and we need to find the whole perimeter. Yeah. So 2.4 times 2, because we have 2 of them per side, and then times 7 equals 33.6. Alright, now what? I know it's a lot. Yeah, so now we plug it into the 1/2 apothem times perimeter. So that's the perimeter. And so now I plug it into 1/2 times the apothem, which is the 5 they already gave me, times the perimeter, which is 33.6, and that does equal 84.
Can you just find the area of the triangle and then multiply that by 7?
Yeah. Multiply it times, there's 14 triangles here. Okay. So yeah, if it's faster to you to find the area of each little triangle and multiply it times however many triangles are there, that's another option. Okay, so I'm going to pause recording for a second. And you're going to... Alright, so all this work we did of finding the angle, dividing it by 2, and subtracting the central angle, I just realized there is actually a direct formula. So we're going to write for just central angle formula is just 360 divided by 2n. So we can skip some of those first steps to find that central angle by plugging it straight into this formula. Yeah, so like this one, if we done just 14,
So
360 divide, yeah. So this one, if we done 360 divided by 2 times 7, which is 14. Plug that into your calculator, see what it gives you. It gives us that same 25.7. So, yeah. So we can skip some of those steps. Does that make sense or doesn't make sense? So it gets us the same answer we got this way, but we can just, there was a direct formula that I forgot to tell you guys about. I'm sorry. But you needed the review for this anyway, because you'll see it on the final at the end of the year. Okay, so the next one, we're going to first plug it in. So first we need to find central angle. So what's our central angle formula?
360 divided by 2.
Okay, so 360 divided by 2 times, how many sides are there this time? 8. So what's 360 divided by 16?
20.
20 or 22.5?
22.5.
Where did y'all get 16?
Okay, so there's 8 sides. Count up how many sides there are, and then times 2.
22.5.
Yeah, 22.5. Alright, so now I can draw my little triangle, label the inside angle as 22.5. What do I need to be able to find the area of this?
The apple.
Yep. Yeah, the hypothesis. Yeah, well, I have the inside angle.
Or the hypothesis.
I need the...
The bottom angle thing.
I need the bottom, and I need... So do I have enough information with this 8 here to find that bottom side?
It's 4. It's 4.
It's 4, because it's just half of the 8. And then I need the apothem, though. So how do I find the apothem?
22.5 minus 9.
No, that would give me this angle, the trigonometry. So I have this, which is my adjacent side. Sorry, my opposite side. I need to find the adjacent side. And so, what is it? When I have opposite, I need to find adjacent.
Sit.
No, it's definitely tangent. Okay, so anytime we have O and A, so sine and cosine are when we need to find the hypotenuse, which we don't ever in this type of problem. So it's going to be tangent 22.5. What goes on top, the 4 or the A?
8. 4.
Yeah. So 4 over A. Is this a multiply or divide problem?
Divide.
So we do 4 divided by tangent 22.5, which equals what?
9.7. Or 10.
9.7. All right. Where's our question? Which one? So when you enter into your calculator, 4 divided by... my calculator. 4 divided by tangent 22.5. It gives you 9.65, which rounds up to 9.7. So we're going to stick with 1 decimal here. Alright, so now my hypothesis is 9.7. And now I need perimeter. How do I...
It's 64. There's 64. Or the perimeter.
Okay, so how do we get 64?
8 times 8.
I mean 8 times 8.
Yeah. 8 times 8, which is 64.
9.7 times 8.
So 9.7 times 64 divided by 2 comes out as...
That one was easy.
310.4.
Yeah, 310.4. Alright, was that better?
Yeah.
Starting to make a little more sense. Okay, so when you have that, flip over to the next page. One last page. We're almost done.
We're labeling now.
We're labeling. Okay. So this is called just a regular polygon, is anytime we call it when all the sides and angles are the same. Alright, so our words we're labeling are center, radius, and apothem.
Center is the dot.
Center is the dot.
Hypotha is the left side. Or the left.
No, right one, because...
So what's this box here? Apothem. And what's this box here?
I don't know the word for it.
Radius, yep. Okay. So, if we have an equilateral triangle, does anyone remember what our central angle is on an equilateral triangle?
60.
60. So we already did this in our warm-up, so this is 30, and this is 60. And so, or we could plug it into our formula of 360 divided by 2 times 3, which equals 60. Yeah, 360 divided by 6 is 60. So if you memorize a few of these basic ones, it goes faster. All right, so this one, do you think trig or special rights is getting faster?
Special rights.
Special rights is pretty fast because we know this is just our two end side.
Why'd you write 30?
Yeah, you did write 30.
Where are you looking at?
The triangle.
Left
So-
angle.
So 30 is this outside angle.
32.
You put 30.
That's
I don't
not
know
30.
what that is.
It's most
Oh,
definitely
oh.
a 30.
What's the...
Oh, the lines to
Oh,
show that
that's
angle
the
is
line.
30. Okay. Sorry. That's a very small area to write with a pen. And so if we do special rights, if 14 equals 2n, what does this side equal? 7.
7.
And what does this side equal?
X 7.
7.
7x.
Something.
7x. 7 root 3.
7 root 3, okay? So if you have one of these triangles, everything on this page is going to be those special right triangles. That's the fastest way, and you're also going to be asked to give the answer usually in square root format rather than decimal. And so that's what we're doing. So then we just plug in 1/2 apothem times perimeter. What's our perimeter here going to be? So 7 root 3 is half a side, so what do I multiply that times?
2.
Well, for the whole perimeter times
Times
6.
6. I mean, I could do times 2 times 3.
3 times 3.
hmm And so then my whole perimeter equals
42 root 3.
42 root 3. And so then I plug it into 1/2 times 7 times 42 root 3 and get I have 47 root 3.
509.
509? Okay, do I need to check my answer key?
That's right.
7 times 42 divided by 2.
I got 254. 254.6.
So remember, we're leaving the root 3 separate, so I should do 7 times 42.
292. 147. Yeah, okay, you're right.
Okay, so remember, I'm just multiplying the whole numbers. I leave root 3 by itself, so I multiply 7 times 42 and then divide by 2. So it comes out to 147 root 3. Yes, no. Would you all make sure you know how to do that in your calculator? So 7 times 42 and then divide by 2 is 147. Okay, so I heard several I'm lost there, so we're going to pause just a second again and talk in your groups or ask me. What did you find out that central angle was?
45.
45. I think as I came around, everyone got that far.
Yeah.
So 2 times 4 equals 45.
And then you divide the 6 by 2. And then it should go to the x root 30. Or 3 root 3
Okay.
root 30.
So if we're on a 45-degree triangle, that means this equals our x root 2. And then both of these sides will be the same. They'll both be x and x.
Well, I thought it was 60.
No, it's you divide the 6 by 2. I don't know why, but you.
What?
You
Which?
did that for the triangle.
Are we talking about this?
No. The 6.
Yeah, I know. We're going to do that next. But do we have a question about why the central angle is 45? Okay. All right, so when we do this, we divide by root 2, which, like Jacob was saying, when we divide 6 by root 2, we rationalize our denominator, which means I end up with 6 root 2 over whole number 2, which simplifies to 3 root 2. So a lot of people were able just to memorize the shortcut of, if I'm dividing by root 2, it becomes that number divided by 2, and then keep the root 2 along with it. Okay, so how are we so far? Can you follow the steps? Do you remember how to do that? It's been a little while since we learned that. Okay, so we got about half the people so far. I'm going to move on and finish solving this, and then if you need help with this step, ask me after we finish these last 2 examples. Okay, so if x is, so my apothem equals 3 root 2, What's my perimeter? What do I do with that 3 root 2 on the side?
Multiply by 4. So 12 root 2.
Close. Do I multiply by 4 or by 8? 8. Because 3
3
root 2 is half the side, so I have to multiply times 2 times 4, or to shortcut, do it times 8. So 24 root 2. And then I just plug it in, so 1/2 times 3 root 2 times 24 root 2.
72 root 4, or 72 times 2, right? Because it would go to 4.
All right, so let's do it step by step. Or you could plug that in your calculator, but just remember we aren't doing decimal answers on these if it's special rates. It does come out to 72. So it becomes 1/2 times 72 root 4, because when we have 2 radicals, we do go ahead and multiply them. 3 times 2, 72. And then what is the square root of 4?
2.
So it becomes 1/2 times 72 times 2. And then the 1/2 and 2 cancel out. Our answer is 72. So this is one you could plug that whole thing straight in your calculator. It would tell you 72. Just if you get a decimal answer, you've got to put it back into square root format and just multiply the whole numbers. All right, do you guys want to try that last one in your groups or all together?
In our group. This one, I think this one's easy.
Okay, so do that last one in your groups and have me check your answer once you get it, and then we will, and then go to today's assignment is big ideas. And so when you get your final answer should come out to be this. So check, once you get that answer, let me come see that you have it, and then go to your big ideas.